Welcome to the DKM podcast, episode 58. We're over here. We don't know much about anything, but what I do know is that it's glad to finally, record this podcast with my boys, talking about all that random stuff that's been happening in the last 2 weeks in gaming, in news. Oh my gosh, the news with the freaking what's happening in Eastern Europe.
Yeah, Ukraine is crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are really like glued onto their seats watching the TV, which honestly, like, people love to milk a crisis when it's time to milk a crisis. Obviously, it brings in money. People start to overreact, even though it's happening way over there. The best way I can describe the situation is like how it's probably gonna go. Let's just say there's 10 people in the room, right, and they're all ready to fight. The thing is, every one of them has a gun. And the thing is, no one wants to use a gun because once somebody uses a gun, then everyone uses it, and then everyone's messed up. So, this translates to obviously the superpowers that are in play when it comes to Russia, United States, Europe, everywhere else. Like, no one's really gonna do much with regards to like nuclear armament. But all I know is that a lot of people are really, really like milking this. They're overreacting. I'm not sure if you guys have seen adults going crazy. It's like, oh, it's like Cold War 2.0. I've seen it many times, and I'm just relax. It's not the same. It's not the same. The world's a little bit more civilized.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's different.
I have no real opinion of it. I mean, I know of it, but I'm gonna be one of the smarter people out there and just say I don't know enough about the subject to give a proper opinion of it.
Yeah, dude.
But shit do be blowing up though. That's all I could say.
Figuratively and kind of literally in some areas, but it's just
no. I mean literally.
Yeah, I mean some people are definitely like going crazy for it. Like it's not like 2020 scare type of crazy, because people were like buying up toilet paper like crazy in 2020. I'm not sure you guys remember that.
Yeah, of course we all remember that.
The horrible toilet paper
shortages.
Yeah. But
I never quite understood that, because if you were in that situation, why didn't you just get in the shower at that point?
I think that's how mass hysteria works.
Yeah.
Where throughout history, like, there have been different like forms of mass hysteria, where like there has been a couple cases where like people just started dancing and they couldn't stop dancing, and then the more people joined, and then they started dancing, and there was a form of mass hysteria. So I was like, one would logically say, hey, just stop dancing. Well, yeah, but these people were affected with some sort of brain worm or whatever, some sort of brain rot. So yeah.
Man, that's a hell of a way to go. Imagine dying busting it down sexual style.
Hitting the stanky leg, dude.
The stanky leg. Literally, he got the stanky leg, dog.
Man,
what if maybe like someone mods in like in Dark Souls, instead of the undead curse, it's just the busting down curse. So you're just like
buzzing down,
just keep doing Fortnite dances everywhere.
All the new emotes are based off that.
And the final and Gwendolyn is just Gwen is just like T-posing in the altar, just like running around.
I will say though that the PC community for Dark Souls is hilarious when it comes to like with humanities. Instead of saying humanities, it says foreskin restored when you get your humanity back, and then when you die, it's called circumcision. I'm like, nice.
Speaking about Souls, actually, so yeah, the hot new game came out today. Actually came out earlier this week at the time of this recording. Elden Ring dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm assuming you guys haven't touched it yet, right?
I don't even have the game.
I don't play games normally day one.
What's a game?
Checkers.
Depends on what game we're talking about. Some games are just a horrible relationship that you really should let go because the good times are gone, and it's really sad, but you still try to do it anyways because you think there's some drop of happiness into it. As most I describe as battle royales in a nutshell, because that's how I describe battle royales.
Are you speaking about like your past relationships? Because this is just getting too.
No, I'm
deep,
talking about
man.
my past relationships of any battle royale, like Apex.
I thought you were talking about
Fortnite,
like past relationships,
Warzone.
like women.
No, I'm only projecting what's real here. Like, that's how I describe like why
your relationships are fake.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Relationships fake, but gaming score legit. But yeah, no, that's how I always describe to people, is that like My worst habit was when I used to play Apex Legends like over and over and over again because it was readily available to me, and I would just be like, man, I'm not even having fun. Why am I keep playing this? And I think I could summarize it like this: with battle royales, is that the way how they get you and they hook you to keep playing is the fact that you could win, is the fact that you could be the victory royale, you could be the final, player standing, and you get that sense of dopamine when you fucking win. Like that shit is like crack.
or you
right?
can just
Casinos and lotteries be like.
Or you can just be like Fortnite and put you in a bot match and then you just automatically win your first
Oh
one.
yeah, that too. Yeah, I was so happy. I thought like, man, I'm doming these fucking.
I did
kids.
that on
And
the
then I looked
Switch,
it up, I was like, oh, yeah,
dude.
no.
I did that on the Switch. I'm like, man, I won my first game, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
It might have been a bot, yeah. Which that kind of annoys me because the quest givers can also kill you, which I don't appreciate that because I got killed because of that once. I hate that. That was really fucking stupid.
Nice.
But yeah. That's what I always tell people is that like people play battle royales because they want that sense of dopamine of winning the game. And if you're a guy who like Symphony for example beats these games like every other time,
Right.
It's not as big of a deal anymore.
I normally just play
yeah.
just for the not so much of winning. It's just playing with friends. It's a lot more rewarding. We've said this multiple times in previous episodes where honestly any game is much more fun when you're playing with friends. Obviously,
Yeah.
I mean that's the only reason why Among Us blew up is because of a couple of friends found out that hey, this game's actually fun when you're playing with friends. But when it comes to
It must be nice having friends,
right? Even Vanguard, I played the hell out of that Modern Warfare and Cold War by myself, and it was fun until my dopamine paths got burned out in my head because I can't stop. Now I'm like, this game's no longer fun. However, when I'm playing with friends, just recently I played a game of Vanguard with Kenny and his friends and another one of our mutual friends, and the game was fun. Just shooting people, killing them, being top of the leaderboards. It's fun. Only when there's people there. But now once everyone started leaving, I was like, game's whatever.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah, like a good example is actually, to circle back because we were bringing up the Dark Souls thing and Elden Ring. I did buy Elden Ring at launch because I was like, you know what, Elden Ring's coming out. I put like almost 100 hours into Hunt, which we'll get to that later. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play this with a friend of mine because he wanted me to play co-op with it, and it was like this open world game. So we both got the game, and we set up. All right, we're gonna stream it. We played it, and if you want my TLDR, the game is probably really good. I just don't recommend you get it on PC at the moment because the performance is hot garbage right now.
yeah, the best way to play it is on Xbox Series X.
That's crazy.
Really?
Actually,
Okay.
yeah,
I
because
thought
it
it
has
was on the PS5.
No, the PS5 is the second best, only because of one reason. You know how on the Xbox Series X and the PS5, a good amount of these games have hey, you can adjust this game to be performance based or quality based, right?
Yeah.
Xbox Series X does this just a little bit better, not by a lot, but you can set it to where it's stuck at 60 frames and doesn't go past that. And when you get the frame jitters, the frame where it just freezes, the game just freezes, it will happen a whole lot less often on Xbox Series X just because of the options there. On PS5, however, you do have that option, and that's cool and all. But it
is that by the console setting or is that like through in-game?
In-game, but
okay.
Xbox Series I think has a console setting. But on PC,
wait, console setting for what?
Just to keep your things at a minimum. That's from what
I've
I've
like
read.
you know how like the PS4 Pro had like the boost mode, kind of like that.
So it's all in-game usually.
Usually,
there is no like hardware setting for you to change, but you could use variable refresh rate, which
I'm not sure what setting it was.
Which smoothens out like the frames because it auto adjusts to the actual refresh of the game. No, the refresh rate of the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I will say that on PC, one of the top rated comments on Elden Ring on Steam, it tells you what settings you should put when it comes to like what graphics cards you're using, or I'm not sure if actually they just tell you what settings to hit, and it fixes the freezing when the game freezes up a bit, but the game freezes just enough where obviously that when you're in the fight, the game could be just it could be life or death in any situation if you're not careful enough, but you can get very, very frustrating deaths just because the game freezes at the right time. So there's certain settings that they take out. So like one of them being shadow, really, really lowering the quality of the shadows in the game. So yeah, it still has its issue. Day one patch reportedly, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but allegedly day one patch made things just a little bit worse. Not sure how or why.
Yeah, there was a patch that came out after the game dropped, but then afterwards, From said that they are going to keep patching the game to fix the other issues. Like that was like the first thing I read when I installed the game. Well, not in the game, but like on the Steam page, where it says like, we're aware of the messages, we're gonna keep patching this game for a while, but we're just working on all the kinks and details. Which yeah, and to go off of what you're saying, Marco, it's like I get where you're coming from. Like, yeah, turn down the settings, which I always do in most games. Like, if I can't hit like a solid like 60, or if a game is locked at 60, then yeah, I usually turn up the graphics a little bit because my computer usually can handle it. But for like competitive games, I tend to play them on low.
Right.
Yeah, I did that. This game is it's just badly optimized. As soon as you hit to the open world, like when you're looking at the trees and you see the tree sentinel, I was dropping it like 33 FPS, and I would get mid freezes like in the middle of fights. Ooh. Like at first I thought it was just because I was playing online with a friend of mine, but when I did it by myself, like there would be moments where the game would like freeze for a split second, and then it would keep playing on. So yeah, from what I'm reading, apparently it has something to do with DX12 or something that is fucking up people's performances. And it's a shame too, because I think that once the game is actually working for me and I could get around to playing it, I'm definitely gonna have a time of my life with it. But as of now, I'm just not gonna even bother with it. I'm just gonna put it in the shelf, wait it off, and then later, maybe in a month or two's time, I'll try it again later and see where we go.
Well, this isn't new. Maybe not to this degree, but I mean, Bloodborne, when it first came out on the PS4, it did have its bugs when it first came out. Obviously, like most games do that are big enough. But that's not to say that, but it's fixed now, so it's like it's excusable. No, not really, but obviously.
I mean, to be fair though, it's not like Dark Souls 1, the DS fix speed. You know what I'm saying? That shit came out in a day. Yeah. So it's not like the damage was so insignificant. That's like, yeah, the port job sucked, but the mod literally came out the next day that fixed everything, and then that's how everybody played Dark Souls. Like, if you talk to anybody who played Dark Souls Prepare to Die edition, they'll tell you like, yeah, I played with DS fix. Like, that's why it has so many good review scores. Which is really weird. I don't know why From doesn't just include DS fix in the base game, but whatever. We're to get the remaster that fixed that, so who cares?
If you're gonna play Bloodborne, especially on a PS4 Pro or a PS5,
that's the only option you got.
There is a unofficial what's the word?
Mod.
Yeah, but you need to have homebrew installed.
Yeah, and people don't want to do that.
Man, I'll homebrew my PS4 Pro. I don't give a hoot.
Yeah, but a lot of people still use their PS4 Pros and they still want to play online and stuff.
Well, I mean, then again, I was, I guess, lucky enough to get a PS5, which, well, yeah. That makes sense, though. But
yeah,
PSP.
I was sort of like, I get where you're coming from. Like, I was so excited at the possibility. Like, if they couldn't get the 60 FPS mode on the PS4, dude, wouldn't it be great if like a selling point would be like, hey, you can play Bloodborne at 60 FPS on the PS5, still perform like garbage, and I was so disappointed by that. Yep. I was so excited for that.
Wait, really? But I played Bloodborne on PS5, and I mean, I prefer it now. Holy crap, everything's a lot more smoother. Well, at least relative, I guess. To me,
it's really not like that much. It's still like locked at. What, like 30 FPS and struggling?
Not 30. I think it's like anywhere between the 40 and 50 range, maybe.
No, max. It doesn't.
You sure?
It doesn't. I am 100% certain. I've played Bloodborne more times than I can count, and I could assure you that it is still running exactly the same as if it was on PS4.
I will say the what do you call this thing? That I'm so glad with the PS5. The load times are so much faster, obviously, because of the SSD. So loading up into anything is fun. At least it
really is a game changer, though.
Yeah,
it really
100%.
is. You don't realize how long the loading takes up of your time.
Oh, yeah. But
I never put any games on my SSD. I've always used it as an OS drive.
Well, that's your own fault, because I've been doing it for a little while before the consoles came out, and man, it's just awesome being able to turn on your computer and 6 seconds later it's already in the OS.
Oh, yeah, that's my point. That's why I installed my OS on that, because it boots faster. That's why I got an SSD for that, but not for like installing games on it.
Yeah, I mean, I have 4 terabytes of SSD, and just installing everything on it is just it's such a whirl. It's awesome. Obviously, I've turned on my Xbox One S just to play games that I had save on there, just save files, and yeah, like I'm still used to the SSD load times, but going back to it, I'm like, wow, this is a difference. But I've got used to playing those games in that console, so it's not too much of a grind. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. With regards to Elden Ring, actually, some people are wondering if, like, much like what you said, Daniel, if we should just like put it off for a bit, just to like wait until something comes out to fix it. And honestly, you can play what you want, play how you want to play it. Honestly, if you have it on the Xbox Series X, go right ahead, keep playing, because it seems to. Reports have shown that it's the best way to play right now, given the frame the frame rate changes and the freezing, how often the freezings happen. But speaking about fixes, Kenny and I, we talked about this when we were playing Vanguard the other day about Cyberpunk 2077 getting a 50 gigabyte patch. And that fixes a whole lot of things, they claim, and people are reporting that it's the same thing, that it fixed a lot of things. So it looks like CP 2077 is actually getting a little bit more viable. So to what degree? Maybe Witcher 3 levels? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know about, honestly though, man, like after getting so burnt by it, like, well, not burnt because I didn't spend money on it, thank God, but you know, to me, I don't know if I would ever get around to playing it, because I mean, granted, was interested but not excited for it, so maybe that's why I'm not like, oh, okay, if it comes out, it's good, I'll play it, but if it sucks, okay, cool, I wasn't planning on playing it anyway, so whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's very, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like how No Man's Sky was, you know, when that launched, that game was broken, and then
the hype was tremendously high.
Yeah, just like Cyberpunk, but you know, you wait, and then boom, now it's a big good game that gets all these updates. Then you take a look at like Halo the Master Chief Collection. That game was broken for like 3 years, and then they turned around and fixed it, and now that's all everybody freaking plays.
Yeah, you're right. It was broken.
Which is a rarity because most people don't play games that are broken at launch.
Oh, I know.
And then later, once they get burnt, they don't bother going back to it because it's like, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, when the damage is so bad, like, you know, we were talking about Battlefield 2042. That game launched with a shitty beta and then later launched with a shittier final product. Right. And now look at the player count. Look at the sales revenue. It's fucking sucks. And that's what I tell people is that, like, your first impressions are everything. And if you fuck up hard.
Yep.
You know, that being said, though, when it comes to games, you know, coming back from a rough patch, obviously we were talking about No Man's Sky. Obviously, we were just talking about Cyberpunk. A lot of games started off, you know, pretty bad. Some way worse, like you know, this channel's favorite, Final Fantasy 14, and what was this other game? Rainbow Six Siege. Those two games really started off horribly, but now look at them now. People are enjoying them.
Exactly.
I mean, so much success for Final Fantasy 14 that they had to take it out of the market, which now it's back on. But
well, that's different. That's a different. Wait, are we talking about 1.0? Or are we talking about the fucking Endwalker release?
We're talking about from when it started to now.
1.0.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to clarify that because because to be fair, I argued that 1.0 is a separate game altogether, and Aroma Born is a completely different project at that point. Yes, it still shares the same name, but it might as well be two completely different games at that point.
Right, and
this isn't like we're taking off Cyberpunk and then we're bringing back Cyberpunk and Walker. We released Cyberpunk as a shitstorm, and then later we're just slowly fixing it over time.
Well, the only reason I brought those examples up is because obviously Cyberpunk hasn't been out for, relatively speaking, to like the rest of the games that had mess ups, and then they had a horrible launch, and then now look at them, now they're great. Cyberpunk hasn't been out for that long, but even then, they just dropped a fat update just to fix it. Is this a little bit too late? Maybe. Yeah, you could say that's the case.
But you could say that with Halo Master Chief Collection. You could have said that with Rainbow Six Siege. You could have said that with No Man's Sky. You could have said that with a whole bunch of games.
The thing with that is, and I will say with Halo Master Chief Collection, even though it took them like 3 years to actually like turn it around, or even Star Wars Battlefront 2, right? It took them a long time for them to like actually make the game like great. Mm-hmm. For Halo, it wasn't their only game that they were making that people were playing. There were the other Halo, like main franchise, like main inline game Halos. I think when Master Chief Collection came out, what was it? Halo 4 was out?
It was Halo 1, 2, 3. Master
like
Chief
I'm talking about
Collection?
when Master Chief came out.
Oh yeah, it was
Master
Halo
Chief Collection
4.
came out. Halo 4 was already out, right?
Yeah, that was the last one that they had came. Well, that was the last one that they came out with.
Right. So they didn't have to worry about too much about MCC because they had Halo 4. Obviously,
Right.
CD Projekt Red, the only game they technically have at the moment is Cyberpunk 2077. Battlefield, obviously EA has a lot more IPs that they don't really care that Battlefield is doing bad.
They'll just shut down the studio eventually.
Which honestly, I hope that's not the case. But like, there's a bunch of meetings about this. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it, where EA blames Halo Infinite's success for Battlefield 2042's failure.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
That's some good copium.
And not only that, speaking of the copium,
So
later I think, let me see. So they said that last week. Then literally, I think like yesterday, or the day before, someone in EA says no one said that about Halo. They were blaming Halo's success, which is causing.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Battlefield
Why did they wait a week to say that?
Wait, hold on. And then everyone's like, but it was recorded. Here's the audio. And then they're like, yeah. All right. And they've just been, obviously they've been, what do you call it? They've backtracked a bit, but obviously.
They've been dumb.
Yeah. Hopefully Battlefield 2
I have a bone to pick with
what?
I have a bone to pick with developers that have a nerve to shit talk on their audience, like they claim like they're victims of some sort of horrible abuse and things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm a fucking customer. I'm gonna be fucking mad. I'm sorry, I'm not blowing hot air up your ass, telling you like, hey, it's okay if you released a broken buggy game that I paid $60 for, probably to $100. Like, I just can't stand it when it's like developers talking about that with their own to their players like that.
Yeah,
I've always had like a bone to pick with that. I hate it when Blizzard did it. I hate it when DICE did it. I think it's fucking lame. It's like that breeds in this idea that's like your job is to calm concerns and promise us fixes and updates, not complain that we're complaining to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get that 100%, and people obviously.
And yes, I do agree that there are people that go above and beyond. I totally understand that, but at the same time, though, you can't just like pass a broad brushstroke on that and just be like, oh, these gamers, how dare they? They're so rude. Don't they know how hard I worked? Like, yeah, I'm sure you did, but you gave me shit. I'm gonna complain about it.
Speaking about that, and this is one thing I've liked. What do you call it? That made me shift my position on not so much the developers, but more the people who are in like upper management or executive.
It's usually
level.
Management.
Right, but hear me out. So, ever since someone told me about this thought, this sort of mental example, it made me look at things a bit differently. So let's just say someone sells 100 units of something, and only 1% of those units are defective. Therefore, only one person gets a defective product. This person goes on social media and says, hey, man, what's wrong with this? Yada, 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 right? No one's really paying attention to that one guy.
Yeah.
Because, well, it's just one dude. Obviously, customer support will do its best to make that person have a better experience, but it's only one person. Now, let's just say in the same example, I sell 100 million units, and yet we still have the same error chances, which is 1%. Now we have 1 million people who have bought this product, who have had this unit, and now they're all complaining on the internet. Well, This continues even further because now this loud minority, which their concerns are valid, you know, their frustrations is valid. They're all over the place. They're getting reviews. They're reviewing it, everything, all those 1 million one-star reviews. And then things get a whole lot crazier. People who didn't know about this product are now knowing about it. How 1 million people got a bad product, whereas the other 99 million didn't. And they're not complaining. Everyone, maybe a couple of them will say, hey, you know, my product's okay. No, but you still have 1 million people still complaining about their product. So that's the interesting thing about it, where a lot of people will just keep complaining because you have a big game. Obviously, if someone releases an indie game and it has its issues, you won't see this militant type of complaints and barrages on these developers because, well, indie developers don't really sell millions of units. So
yeah,
I true, but that doesn't mean that indie games are immune to criticism either.
Of course not.
They still get their fair share of the shit.
And nor is the criticism for the nor is the criticism that the developers have for like the rest of the world valid either, because like, hey, like you probably knew talking to amongst each other like, hey, I don't think this game's ready, or like I know I did my part, but Johnny over here, he said he's not even halfway done with his, and they tell him to just throw it in there. It's like, all right. I'm pretty sure this Office talk about it all. And
oh yeah, they're not stupid. Of course,
not entirely.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like just like in general. Like, there's no when the game releases buggy as shit as launched like that. There's no way in hell no one in the fucking team just said, okay, this game is probably gonna suck, or okay, this game is probably gonna be broken.
Right.
There was like this whole thing that happened with the Warcraft 3 remastered that they knew it. They knew that this was not working, this was not finished, this was this and that. But Activision Blizzard told them, nope, you have to release it by the holidays because we promised this time window and and we don't want people canceling pre-orders because we know that this isn't a game that you can milk that much money out of it, so it's either now or never. And it's like, okay, fine, we're gonna release it, but when we tell you it was buggy and broken, we told you it was buggy and broken.
Right.
That's why people really like the projected movie sales, like how many people have ordered already their ticket to go watch it in theaters. They view that as a form of success. Same thing with pre-orders. We all know this. People in the higher ups see this as a positive, which is true. You get more pre-orders. That means these people are...
It's a guaranteed sale.
Well,
Right.
not always, but yeah.
Yeah, so you can say, like, with a margin of error, like, I don't know, let's just throw around the number, 5%, right? That those are going to buy it.
Which I never quite understood that. Like, why does giving $5 to GameStop make people think that, like, oh, yeah, they're totally going to buy it? Like, you have to go back to GameStop anyways to pay the full amount. What if you just cancel your pre-order
Yeah,
at
you
that
can.
point?
Right.
You can get your $5 back.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. To me, the concept of pre-ordering has always been kind of weird, which is funny. I did pre-order Elden Ring, but that was just like, well, I know I'm going to play this at launch. But, like, the only time I ever felt like I needed a pre-order, or at least the idea of it, was when,
Oh.
All right, my bad. I forgot to turn on my mic again. I was just saying was the only time I ever felt like I needed to pre-order a game was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, because that game was sold off like fast as possible.
Yeah.
There was no way you were going to get it unless you pre-ordered that game.
Well,
that was the
you're right, but now when everything's digital,
yeah, I just don't get it. Like, that's my thing though. Like, I never understood the concept pre-ordering aside from well, I could see from different angles. Like, all right, GameStop does it because it guarantees sales. Companies want you to do that because it guarantees sales. But like, from a consumer perspective, the only benefit I could think of is some goodies or bonuses or stuff like
basically.
that. Like, if you pre-order Elden Ring, you get an emote that you were going to get anyways later in the game.
Yeah.
It's an emote that doesn't make any goddamn sense if you don't know what's going on, but it's funny to me.
Yeah, pre-orders nowadays is just like, what's the point? Even then, back then,
well, yeah, they were just a little incentive, but at least sometimes you'd get something, meaningful.
yeah, even with
Like
pre-orders, yeah, you would get extra goodies that actually were kind of worth it for some games. Actually,
To me, I give a shit about pre-ordering if like there's some physical trinket or something that I give a shit about. Like, I don't know, give me the Assassin's Creed Best Buy football. I don't fucking know. Give me that. Yeah, that was a thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just, to me, I'll just be like, all right, I'm gonna buy this game, but where should I pre-order it? Because I need some incentive.
Well, yeah. So like, Best Buy, if you pre-order games, like they'll give you a steelbook for the game. So that's an incentive immediately.
If that motherfucking steelbook does not have an end label on it, I'm gonna fucking flip.
No, they normally do. They get it from Steelbook.
No, because I got a steelbook for Pokemon Let's Go
yeah.
Eevee, and that shit doesn't have an end label, and it's like, cool, I have this, and they gave me the regular case too, so it's like, okay, so now I have this sliver of silver right here, and then I have the regular game right here.
Yeah.
You can
so
pass it to me, man.
if,
I'll take it from you. No worries.
If I feel a little bit frisky tonight, maybe I'll take the cartridge out and put it on that case.
Whoa.
Feel a little fancy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
I guess it's a nice display
There you
piece,
go.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Do they expect you just to show the front, have it kick, on a kickstand or something? Just
I mean, I'll take it to the club and maybe pick up some bitches
Hell
with that.
yeah.
And I'll let you guys know how that
Hell
goes.
yeah.
wait, women? That's kind of cringe, bro. You're picking up women? Don't you know
Well,
in this
that's
day
the
and age
plan,
you
Marcos.
can't pick up women like
No,
that at
Marcos,
a bar?
you see, that's the point.
Okay,
I'm trying to
that's
take the women
homies,
out of
man.
Marcos, hear me out.
No,
Marcos,
sorry.
you don't understand. I'm part of my big brain strategy. I'm trying to pull the women out so I can fuck their guys.
Got it. That's
Less
what I'm talking about.
competition,
Literally, you go up to some girls like, hey, baby, let's go Eevee Steelbooks. Like, oh my gosh, I have a boyfriend, leave me alone. And the guy comes up like, hey man, what's that?
Whole
And
bet?
he goes, this guy comes up like, hey man, are you talking to my girl? Is that the Let's Go Eevee Steelbook? Yeah, man, look at it. And you guys, and I don't know what happens. A couple drinks, and you guys are just making out.
Guy starts crying in Eevee.
Which,
Just a random fuckboy appears, throw a Pokeball at him.
Which honestly, out of all the Eevee evolutions, I feel like Eevee needs a normal evolution where it just becomes bigger and does taxes.
Yeah, wait.
Big Eevee. Big Eevee.
A big Eevee. It becomes a regular Eevee, just slightly bigger. 5 o'clock shadow, if it's even possible. Does taxes. Has to wake up at 5 to get to work at 7.
Yeah, because he has, his wife probably left him. He hasn't seen the kids in forever.
They're a normal type Pokemon, so you gotta have the normal thing of society. You know what I'm talking about?
Speaking about normal things of society, yeah, that's why I've been a little bit out of it, guys. Man, I don't know how you fucking normies do this shit. How the fuck do you wake up early in the morning to go to work?
Very carefully.
How do you do it?
Multivitamins help.
Multivitamins.
Actually, speaking about that, a friend of mine, we were talking on the phone, I think on Thursday, because I was at Costco and I called him because there was something in Costco that they have that he liked, and we were just talking about it and everything, and things going great with jobs and whatever. And I told him, like, hey, everything that you're experiencing, all these negative things, Americans go a lot, and I mean a lot of days without meeting that quota that their body needs for daily intake of vitamins and minerals, and also sunlight. Sunlight's very important. And I told him, hey, just buy a multivitamin.
Man, I'm getting the sunlight now, and I fucking hate it. My skin starts sizzling and shit like that. I smell like bacon. I hate it.
Yeah, maybe you'll burn off some fat off you, fatty.
Dude, I'm a gay vampire.
You fatty, burn off some fat, fatty.
Dude, no, dude. The sun is making me fatter. That's the problem.
So
I'm getting all this vitamin D, and it's going to my thighs.
So so he took some multivitamin, which I have the exact same multivitamin he got, and homeboy is no longer waking up a lot during the night. He's getting much deeper sleep, and he believes it's part of the multivitamins. Like, it could be the case. I don't know. So if you're ever feeling emotionally down, if you're ever feling
emotional damage,
I was watching this doctor talking about, like, on his thing on his Twitch, and he says usually these gamer things, these gamer attitudes where people have no motivation, low energy, low sex drive, low this, low that, bad whatever. Usually, like, you can usually want to work for the simplest solution and then work up to the most complicated. And low vitamin and low low vitamin, low minerals, and low and no bitches of not touching grass is one of these key things. So, like, I recommend to anyone listening to this podcast, and even to you two idiots, you guys should try maybe multivitamin, not every day, maybe once, maybe every other day. See if that helps. Usually it's helped me a lot, especially fish oil. Fish oil is nice. I like it.
Omega-3.
Omega-3s is nice. You get a lot of omega-6s from other things, but either way, you still need omega-3, 6, and 9.
I'm literally prescribed omega-3. That's literally what I take every time I eat.
I just eat sushi, man.
They literally prescribed it to me. They always told me I had like a vitamin D deficiency, and I always like,
yeah, you do.
Sir, I already get a lot.
You do.
I told you, man. I'm a gay vampire. What the fuck you want me to do about it?
You need some more vitamin D in that life.
I mean, shit. Just ship me to the sun already. Goddamn.
I will say though, just consider it. I guess maybe talk to your doctor about it. If next time you go talk to your doctor about it, she's like, hey, is multivitamin could help me out or anything? Just a little food for thought here,
man. Don't even get me started on doctors, dude. Getting like new health insurance fucking sucks because now you got to like start all over now, and no one thinks about like putting your name or anything on the fucking database, which is weird because all of our information is publicly sold at this point. I don't know why the fuck doctors can't just like ask the last doctor, like, hey, you know this patient I have now? Do you have any like footnotes I should know about this fucking clown or things like that? And it's like, nope, nothing. You might as well be creating a new custom character at this point to these people.
I might be wrong on this, but I'm sure you can have access to your own file and you can carry it with you.
You can.
Not physically.
No, it's not that. It's just that when you get new health insurance, you have to start from scratch. You have to get all these new doctors that only accept your insurance. And it's like...
That's what I'm talking about, though. You can have that file that your old insurance had or doctor, and just you yourself can just be the middleman to connect it to the new one. I could be wrong.
But at the end of the day, you start to fill in with the new doctors and everything. It's just like really tedious because now you gotta get your blood work. You gotta get tested for this. You gotta get all this shit done. It's like,
oh, boo hoo! It sucks to be healthy. Oh no.
No, it's not. Hey, man, I'm not even talking about that. If you want to go into complaining, I hate it when, like, for example, like I got Obamacare when I just turned 18 and I just got diagnosed with diabetes. That was a whole fun chapter of my life, going to every other doctor every other day, being like, yeah, I'm here to meet Mr. Dr. Martinez. Like, oh, okay, sir. Do you have Obamacare? I'm like, I think so. I don't know. And he's just like, oh, well, you can't come here. And like, then why the fuck did you schedule an appointment with me? They did this like time after time after time. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Actual rip, dude.
Oh, that was aggravating. It was so goddamn aggravating. So imagine dealing with a brand new diagnosis, and now you got to deal with every fucking jackass want to be like, oh, you're too poor. Can you just like die of insulin deficiency?
I think when it comes to what do you call this? When it comes to just with your case, I'm pretty sure when you're swapping insurances, there is a file out there that they're required to have that you can ask for it, and then they'll just be like,
well, it's not the insurance problem. It's the problem is that the doctors could refuse the insurance.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Right, no, I get that.
That's the thing about like why Obamacare was so funny to me. It's just like, okay, cool. Now everybody has insurance, but we still live in a country where you could refuse it. So they could just say, oh, okay, well, we don't take that insurance. I'm like, but I'm insured. Yeah, but we don't take that one.
oh,
And you're fucked.
nice.
But anyways, so I started my new job 2 weeks ago, and man, it is a massive shift in the system, if you get my drift. Instead of coming in at work at 11 p.m., I'm now starting work at 11 a.m. And man, like I said, I don't know how the fuck you people like wake up early in the morning and make breakfast and go get in your car and get stuck in traffic for an hour.
11
I don't like
a.m.
that.
traffic? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Yeah,
no,
what
at first
traffic?
it was actually
At 11 a.m.
no. First of all, it was like that at first, right? I would start my way to work at 10 a.m. and the traffic wasn't bad, but then my boss slowly like moved my starting time from 11 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then that's when the traffic gets fucking worse, and I just hate it. I fucking hate dealing with gridlock traffic. I don't know if it's worse. I don't know if it's worse to get traffic on the way to work or it's traffic on your way to home, because I've been on both sides of it. At one job, I felt like that my boss perfectly timed it that I would be stuck in traffic going and coming from work, and I hated it. I fucking hated it.
Well, all I can tell you is, you'll find ways to make it a bit more bearable. That's
I'm sure.
That's all I
yeah.
gotta really
It's
say
just-
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 3 years of lifestyle that I have to change drastically, and I'm only been like 2 weeks into it right
Yeah.
now, but it's getting better. It's getting better. I'm just glad to get out of that old job I had.
When it comes to just driving overall, there are a bunch of, you know how Google Maps had an advertisement saying, "Hey, we know the shortcuts that only like locals know about." Nah, that's sort of
Not
true.
true at all.
That's sort of true in some spots, but not in a lot of spots. Because honestly, every time I wake up in the morning, I turn on the GPS, not for me, for like where I gotta go. It's just for
See
traffic.
how long, to see traffic.
Just for traffic, to see if there's something blocked off,
Yeah.
if there's an accident, or if there's a speed trap. Just to have all my bases covered. And I never follow it. I take the same path every time, and it's always faster than the path that Google Maps tells me to take. And even then, Google Maps supposed to be a data company that's used to use my data to collect everything. It's like, hey, you use this path multiple times, and it's much faster, and you've proven it to be faster every day. But we're gonna recommend you take the main road anyways. I'm like, nah, psych, miss me.
The only time I had to do that was that in my old route. I remember one time I got stuck in the traffic because the highway closed down like
Right.
mid path, and I remember getting so fucking pissed about it. So from then on, every time I always go to work, I always check Google Maps. Like literally, I have a routine on my Nest display right behind me that whenever I set an alarm to wake me up at a certain time to get ready to go for work, it literally tells me like, "Oh, good morning, da 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 da. Your route from here to there is gonna take about 20 to 30 minutes, so you should leave around this time." And I always factor in like if I'm gonna get breakfast on the way to work, if I have to get gas, da 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 da. Like I always I always plan ahead, and I always know, because there have been times where I saved my ass a lot of time because I didn't take the highway because the highway was under construction, some bullshit, that I took like a local road, and then I got there faster. It only sucks when you're driving around the city, because I don't generally like driving around the city because there's a lot of one-way streets. But thankfully, this new job isn't like that at all, and there's like plenty of space.
Last year, my birthday, my parents wanted to invite me out to go eat somewhere. I'm like, yeah, sure, I don't care. I was really planning on doing nothing, but they just want to do something. So we my dad wanted to come to where I'm at, and the guy isn't technologically adept, and he doesn't want to use Google Maps on his phone. Well, from when we told him, it was like, hey, you should start heading over now, to when we got to the restaurant, and then we waited almost 45 minutes at the restaurant before he came. He was stuck in 2-hour traffic because the path he took was essentially locked. And I go, Dad, at that time it gets locked. Usually if there's construction or if there's, which is not the case anymore unless it's like further north on where he had to get off, which is fine. But usually if there's a crash or something, and like, you should use Google Maps. You should always use it. I always tell you, even if you're going home the same route you always take home, just use it, man. Because I don't know, you just be driving, like, oh man, can't wait to get home to do XYZ, and then you get home, you're on your path to get home, and then you're stuck in traffic for an hour because all lanes are closed on the highway because I don't know, insert a fuel truck spilled. It flipped over and there's fuel everywhere now. It could be something like that. So yeah, or someone crashed and they hit a sign. They hit one of those highway signs and that sign fell on the ground. Well, we gotta close the whole highway down. It happens. It's rare, very rare, but it happens. So please use Google Maps. For one, it gives them data, so it can make everyone's lives easier. So like, hey, I see a speed trap. Let me put that in, and let me warn other people that there's a speed trap here. And then two, it can help you get to your destination faster. But yeah, I recommend everyone using it, even though people, you shouldn't really be looking at your phone while you're driving.
No, absolutely not. You shouldn't at all.
I will say though, Uber drivers near the airport, I hate them.
They're so annoying.
I hate them.
They're annoying. Yep.
I hate them. I hate them. I hate them, dude. I wish there was a way to, like, I don't know. You know how in GTA you could have a car that has spike strips? I would so love that.
Why not just have a car that has a propeller on top and you just fly over everybody?
You know, I was interested in installing this, and it's not that hard because my SUV, what do you call this? My window. You know how like some SUVs, their windows roll down, the back window rolls down. Some windows pop up. I have the pop up one, right? Mm-hmm. I was thinking of installing this mesh LED thing where you can write a message on it, but you can still see through it because it's mesh. Where like if some idiot has his high beams on, when there's light all around us, like, hey, like, turn off your damn high beams, or like just put a message out there. Or if they're tailgating me, or if they're like just riding my ass at a red light, be like, hey, back off. Whatever. You know, I just want to have an LED. Or even an LED mesh thing, or even better yet, a mirror. Just have a mirror, dude. Just like a mirror that goes up and down that I have an electrical switch to that will block it and unblock it, and then just if they have a high beams, I'll just turn on the damn button. And then go. Your high beams get reflected back. I don't know. It's easy to do. Is it worth it? Maybe. Actually, I don't know. What do you guys think of it?
I've always wanted something like that. I mean, hell, even a megaphone. Just freaking scream in their face.
An actual megaphone?
Yeah, like an actual megaphone. Just strapped to the...
yeah. Like what police cruisers have?
Yeah, just strapped to the back of the car.
Yeah. Oh, well, doesn't that connect to the horn?
Does it?
I don't know. All I know is that I know that with the speakers, they don't use the speakers per se, or maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's something else. But I was considering upgrading my horn to a louder one, because why not? One of those truck horns.
Oh yeah, the really loud one, like a train horn almost.
No, not a train horn. That one's too big. But a truck horn, which for some of them, if you want the train horn, so most cars, I think most, if not all cars, pretty sure all cars have electric horns.
Yeah.
But if you wanted a train horn, it needs to be both electric and pneumatic. And that being said, then so when you get that big and loud horn. But I don't think that's enough. Like I would want a horn. I don't want it to be like crazy loud like that. A train horn will no. Maybe if the person in front of me is listening to like heavy, like his music at full blast, all the windows in his cars are shaking because of the bass. Yeah. Maybe, but I don't think I'll ever need that. But yeah, I do want a truck horn. loudness, and then also the microphone thing, the megaphone thing feature,
be awesome.
like police have it. Be like, lights green, idiot, go.
Speed up, man. It's 45. Why are you going 35?
Which honestly, I would feel bad if like I passed them and it's an old lady. I'd be like, oh, I'm a piece of crap.
No,
literally,
no.
maybe it's
Just get
just
off
me.
the road, man.
Maybe it's just me, but literally, like I'm like, oh, come on, dude. There's 2 lanes.
Why? Are
This
you
one's going the speed limit. This other one's going a bit slower. And when I pass them both, they're both old people. And I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I'm a piece of crap. Maybe I should slow down. I started questioning myself, and I'm like, damn, dude, am I really a piece of crap like this?
No.
Just because I get mad because old people are being old people. They did
No.
nothing wrong. They're following the law. They're doing just fine. And here I am, being aggressive, being very hey,
patient.
yeah, which I really don't have anywhere to be, technically speaking. So what's the point? What's the point of me being so gun ho about passing people who are old, really really old, and just they're just taking their time. They're just being safe. I just feel like that would be something to look into for myself.
Right.
Speaking about driving, have you ever considered getting a steering wheel for your PC?
No, I haven't. I never have. I was never like I like racing games, but I'll play them with my controller.
I would get that. It's just
Okay.
I want to immerse
all right.
myself a bit more. You know what I mean?
But all right, so then get one for your Switch. It's just a piece of plastic that you strap your freaking your Joy-Con into.
Oh yeah. You remember those old school there was one for the Xbox that I used to have. It was given to us, and we never really used it. But
Oh yeah, I remember it.
it was a steering wheel that you put on your lap that had
Yep.
little lap braces or thigh braces.
Yep.
That was great. That was honestly great. I'm pretty sure they still sell stuff like that. But I mean, even Mario Kart Wii, you put the Wiimote into this plastic steering wheel, this plastic circle, which
I know.
but it works for the Wii though. It works for the Wii because you needed to turn to like if you were steering a car or steering wheel, it worked then, and it wasn't breaking the immersion. But you're telling me there's a steering wheel thing for the Switch?
For the Switch. For the Switch,
How does that-
dude. It's not the whole system, it's just the Joy-Con.
Oh,
And it's really tiny. It's not even normal size.
I actually cringe. Ew. That's actual
And
cringe,
it's
though.
Nintendo license, and that's the issue.
You think Nintendo license stuff is that bad?
No, I think that their licensed steering wheel's that bad.
Well, I mean, I normally, when it comes to the Switch, I usually buy like, hey, this is an A-OK for Nintendo, because like, I'm not sure you remember when the Nintendo Switch first came out, people were buying different kind of docks because
And they were bricking and shit. The reason why they were bricking, I found that it's out later on. You could have used any dock just as long as you use the official charger.
Right. But one of the complaints I saw that it scratched up the screen going in or out of the dock, of this third-party dock.
That was also happening with the original dock too.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Or when the Switch first came out,
Yeah.
the dead cells or dead pixels.
Oh god, yeah. So when I was in Wisconsin, I bought a Switch up there, and this Switch was so messed up, dude. Like, I started it up, and there was a whole bunch. I don't know if it was the GPU that was messed up, on the APU chipset, the SoC, and it was just showing a whole bunch of different pixels that were different colors and flashing. It looked like a starry night on my Switch screen. I'm like, uh-oh. So I went to the store and I bought another one. I swapped it out, and then like I returned the one that I had just gotten, and then that one had issues.
I'm glad you said Wisconsin. I don't want this to ever be erased from the history books where T-Pain rhymed mansion with Wisconsin. That was a top tier meme, top tier bar, top tier
Dude,
rhyming skills.
Did you see that Rick Ross has freaking horses and stuff?
Has what?
He has horses, dude.
Heck yeah, dude! If you're rich enough,
And
go
he
get your
just
horses. Who
bought a
cares?
cow, and now he's like he's cutting down trees himself.
Oh well, I mean,
Like he's fully embracing it, dude. It's awesome.
well, I mean, he is definitely like throughout his life, you could see like his change in like lifestyle changes, especially with his weight loss journey. So like,
Right.
obviously, like it's changed some things, but like, I'm pretty sure like it'll happen to all of us when we get older. There's going to be some sort of shift in our mindset and what we find important, what we find meaningful. So when it comes to Rick Ross, right? You could see his change in like how he conducts himself with his professional partners, with the people in his community. Like it gets there. This also comes with like I think at the age of 40, like people tend to be like men tend to be more tender and caring in some cases.
Yeah.
Only because like some hormone shift balance, I guess, is also midlife crisis type of thing. But all I know is that the dude has money. He has a lot of money.
Oh
dude.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what was his name? P. Diddy. Through music alone, he became a billionaire. Same thing with Kanye West, and I think he has a doctorate in music. Kanye West. So, oh yeah, all these memes with Kanye West, with Kim Kardashian, and Pete Davidson. I've been loving it so much. Kanye West is a meme, dude.
What is that? I'm sorry, I just turned back in. What happened? What is this thing about Kanye and Tim Patterson? I don't.
Well, okay. So we know that Kanye West was married to Kim Kardashian, right?
Kim, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now they're going through their divorce, or they are divorced. Either one of the two, they're separating, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
she got together with what's this guy's name?
Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson is hooked up with Kim Kardashian?
Yes.
Hyping it. But the thing is, everyone was starting making memes about Pete Davidson because, like, if Pete Davidson is hooking up with a chick, you know that he's like doing her and doing everything to her because like the man's a beast. The man just goes. Like, he doesn't look like anything, but apparently he tracks women. So that being said, I think there was a meme about Kim Kardashian buying a house, and then like a couple days later or weeks later, Kanye bought the house in front of it. And something like that. I could be wrong, but like this sounds like a Kanye move. So yeah, people are eating this up. People are eating the memes with
Man, I'd be legitimately terrified. I don't want to be struck down by the might of Jesus.
That's what I'm saying. And honestly, Kanye West being the fat mean lord that he is, you know, that he
He wants to buy the earth, you know.
that too. There was a what was it? He was gonna give Drake a track, an actual like beat or whatever, or he was asking for. I don't know how the story goes, but then he took that beat and made Whoop-Diddy Scoop, and everyone's like,
that's already the story.
everyone was like Drake was like, really, like, is this?
That shit slaps.
It was a good beat. It was a nice
Whoop-Diddy
beat that was given to him, I think,
It
and then he
was.
just like, screw it, I'm gonna meme it and then put it on my album, and everyone was like,
That's really makes you show how talented he is. The fact that he can make a meme song and still be one of the greatest musical pieces of all time is truly a tip of the iceberg of the creativity and genius of Jesus.
I think this is one of those situations where
I still think we should vote for a god for our president. I'm just saying.
I think it's one of those situations where like being in the realm of irony sells more than actually being professional. Where it's one of the few cases where it actually worked successfully.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Kanye is actually a really nerdy, like dorky guy when you get to like sit down and talk to him. Like, yeah, he showboats a lot, but at the end of the day, he's not like a meme lord. He's not like, you know, retweeting memes, but he's kind of like a dad with a sense of humor of a dad, you know. He makes puns and shit like that, and he's just, you know, that's why I like the guy. I never really had any problems with him, you know.
I get it, but the dude also has like, you're rich. I get it. You're smart enough to have this business, but then he does things that someone who has gotten to his point of life, you know, where he's grinded, he's struggled to get to where he's at. and yet he does these things where you're like, yeah, so don't do that. You have the common sense there. Come on, man. Like, it's
like what?
Well, one with this whole Pete Davidson, the Kim Kardashian is like,
Well, that's just being petty, and like when you're rich, you could just be as petty as fuck. I
True,
guess.
And then also like every time he's like, what do you call it? Every time he's out and about, whenever something happens and he becomes an instant meme, it's just a whole bunch of funny things. It's just like you like the whole, oh, it's Yeezus being Yeezus again, you know? So all I know is that he's at a point in his life where we'll never be, where he's making so much damn money. He's essentially permanently rich. He is at this threshold that only a very few handful of people throughout history will ever break, because he's that rich. So he can act the way he wants to act, apparently. But yeah, it's funny seeing him meme around, him being used as a meme. People saying that he's like, I love his music. Don't get me wrong. He's every album is so unique, very, very, very personalized to whatever he's.
I'm so bummed that I wasn't able to go see the Donda 2 concert. Which apparently there was a fuck up with that. Like some sound engineer fucked up really badly in the last song or something.
Yo, that's what was happening.
Oh yeah. He threw his mic. He threw his mic.
I'd be mad too.
Is that what happened? I didn't watch anything of it. I just only heard that like some sound engineer.
I just remembered.
Like, does anybody have a recording? What happened?
I just remembered.
You can look it up. You can literally look it up.
Talking about it
right now.
People were talking about it as like, hey, like when Kanye got mad and everything, it's like then the meme goes audio engineer in the back, and it's Pete Davidson messing with his audio, and I'm like, nice. This is nice memes. You throwing Pete Davidson in there just because it's Kanye. Yeah, but it was a mess up, apparently. Something.
Man, at least you know, I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, I wanted to go because I've always wanted to see Kanye live. But to be fair though, like the time window that he announced this thing was literally like, to put in perspective, like when I found out about the concert, I was literally in the mall buying clothes to wear for work on the first week, right? And that same day, I get the news update says that Kanye is performing in Florida at 2 weeks from now, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And I was like asking my cousin, who's a big Kanye fan, I was like, yo, you want to go watch? He's like, well, yeah, if it's not like $130. And I'm like, okay, let me take a look. Yeah, the tickets are $130 each. And I was like, damn, well, maybe we should go. And he's like, dude, I'm not paying that much money for a fucking concert. And I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. But dude, like, we could be one of the first people to hear Donda 2. Like, that's a big fucking privilege, man. That shit's fucking cool. But he's like, nah, man, we ain't gonna fucking do that. And I'm like, all right, man. Maybe we could.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Especially since I think he wanted to hit the 2/22/22 timeline, or time frame, because you know, a whole bunch of twos. Which, speaking of, a lot of companies had things on sale on that day.
Well, let's not forget Sonic Tuesday, baby.
Let's go. Actually, speaking about games, we were talking about this earlier before recording the podcast, but about the new Pokemon game. Everyone's this is one of those presentations that a lot of people they forgot existed, or they weren't aware because it wasn't really announced all that much. I wasn't aware of it. That's surprising because most times on any social media platform, I get bombarded like, hey, Pokemon Direct, Nintendo Direct, Sony Direct, Xbox.
Oh yeah. I brought it up. I brought up the Pokemon presentation.
Yeah, I didn't get much announcements for it.
So the coverage for it originally, a lot of it was just mobile games, and everybody was So it was like an update for Pokemon Go. They're bringing the Alola region Pokemon March 1st. I mean, holy crap! It's in 2 days, and then there was something for Pokemon Masters where you can get like 8,000 free gems, which apparently is a lot. Then there's something coming out for what's the MOBA's name for Pokemon Unite? Yeah. And then now they're announcing a brand new anime. They came out with the Oaks Letter for Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and that's good until March 27th. There's actually another one where you can get a Alolan, or not Alolan, the Hisui Growlithe.
Okay.
If you go to GameStop, you can get a code. So that's good until the 13th.
Hand me the codes.
Yeah, I need them codes, bro. And then so they have the new anime. There's an update, it's like a deal. It's a somewhat of a small like story update DLC for Legends Arceus. And it's bringing now like herds of Pokemon. So normally you have like 2 or 3 that are in the area. Now it's herds, and there'll be alpha herds too. So like you can have a herd of alpha Pokemon all together.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that. And then there was some other tweaks and stuff to the game, just gameplay in general.
Daniel, quick question. What reason will you have to ever enter a GameStop?
Well, these guys didn't even have any PS4 controllers when I needed to buy one, so that was the last time I called GameStop. My sister borrowed my PS4 controller, and I was like, all right, fine, just bring it back, because at the time I wasn't using it, so I was like, yeah, but that's still my main controller that I use on PC. And eventually I was like, all right, Elden Ring's coming around the corner. I definitely want to play this. I need a controller. Hey, can you bring me the controller? She's like, oh, I'll bring it back soon. It's at my boy's place. I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. Just bring it back. And the more she dragged on, I was like, this thing's probably not coming back anytime soon. So I said, all right, I'm going to go buy a controller, but I don't want to like drive too far from my place, right? And I've always been hesitant on buying like controllers on Amazon, because apparently there's a lot of bootlegs that happen there, even in like the official store listing page. Right. So I just avoid it. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go to a Best Buy. They're trusted. Let me go there. But I just like kind of dragged my feet on it.
Okay.
But man, the last time I went to a GameStop was Return Cyberpunk.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah, it was.
That was literally the last time I went to a GameStop. I just don't really see the purpose of it. If I want to buy something, I order from Amazon. If I want it physical, or if I really need to go to a brick and mortar store, I'd rather go to a Best Buy.
Do you have a controller now? PS4?
Yeah, I do. I have my PS4 controller. She eventually brought it back.
Oh,
but, like, yeah, that's literally what happened. I called GameStop and I'm like, hello, thank you for calling GameStop. I was like, yeah, I need like a PS4 controller. And they're like, oh, we're out of that, sir. And I'm just like,
yeah.
All right, well.
Best Buy too. I needed a PS4 controller because I was giving my PS4 Pro away to a friend. And I just wanted to get him a new controller. I didn't want an old controller, just to give it to them. So I was looking around. I was like, no one had it throughout entire Florida because the PS5 was out. So,
which is funny because I was tempted to buy a PS5 controller, but then I thought, like, man, if I buy this PS5 controller, eventually I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 that's most likely going to include a controller. Yeah. What am I going to do with two controllers?
Just buy the pink one like a man, dude. Buy the pink PS5
I was going to buy it, but they didn't have it in stock. That was the problem.
Yeah. I do like the purple one, though. Purple one's nice.
Purple one's nice, but I don't know. I've had this blue and black PS4 controller I bought for like years now at a Walmart, and it's still been like my main controller. Don't get me wrong, the PS5 controller is a definitive upgrade, and one thing I definitely am not missing. I do not miss was using micro USB cables to plug in a controller. That shit should have never been a thing. Annoying. Thank God USB-C is now the standard, but I'm just not going to buy a PS5 controller for just PC. Probably not yet, because the PS4 controller is more than fine for me.
Look, and this is more geared towards Kenny. I like the Elite controllers. I don't like the price tag for just a basic controller. I know it's a nice,
but it's not a basic controller. That's the thing.
It's an Elite.
Well, okay. You know what? So you have the back paddles, you have the hair triggers, you have the customization, and with the Elite Series 2, you can adjust the tension on the analog sticks and swap out the D-pads, and there's 3 different profiles that you can have on this one controller. Plus the built-in battery lasts 40 hours, so...
Look, I get that. I get all that. And I'm pretty sure the price point's only there for the battery.
How much did that controller cost?
The Elite now, I think, the Elite Series 2, I think is like $160 now.
I bought this keyboard, this Logitech G710 keyboard for $100, and it's still been with me since high school.
Well, I bought this keyboard for $200, and I've had it since 2020. So,
but that's my point, though, is that like that's what I always tell people. Like, whenever I use a shitty keyboard at any job, everyone makes fun of me like this, right? Like, I try to explain this to like all the old farts at any job I work at, right? I'm using like this piece of shit keyboard, and like it's like stuck on the keys. Like, I remember you couldn't like shift properly because it would get stuck on the plastic.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't go down properly.
I like that.
And then
good memories.
And people were like, and I told these people, like, man, I if I worked at any fucking office, I would switch every keyboard with a mechanical keyboard. And they're like, oh, well, how much you spend on the keyboard, Daniel? I'm like, I spent $100 on it. And he's like, well, shit, Daniel, like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, because that keyboard has been with me for years. You motherfuckers have been running out of $10 keyboards like every other week.
Yeah, that's the issue. Is they get a membrane keyboard, and the membrane once one key's done, that's it. Like the whole keyboard, you might as well just throw it away.
Yeah, it'll start to go.
But yeah, so my argument to that is, if you bought an Elite controller or an Elite Series 2 controller for like the Xbox One X back in, I think it came out in 2017, I want to say, or 2018, you can still use the same Elite controller on the Series S and X today.
I get that. So it's just the price point that bothers me. And honestly, I don't care so much about the whole what it does. I like how it feels.
Oh, it feels great. It's heavy and it has the rubber grips, and it's just I'm holding mine right now. It's nice.
Yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is the PS5 controller feels great. I like it. The Xbox, the Elite controllers feel better.
Yep.
But my wallet prefers.
Is it worth the extra money?
Yeah, my wallet prefers the Xbox. I mean, not the Xbox, the PlayStation. But I will say though, I would find it much more comfortable to play a lot more games on my PC with some controllers. The thing is, I wouldn't mind playing it on my PlayStation 5 controller. It's just I don't know. I just don't like playing on controller on my PC. But if I had a choice, I'd rather use an Elite controller if I had the choice to. But I don't. I have 2 PlayStation 5 controllers here, which came with a bundle, so that's what I have. But yeah,
I went from a PS3 controller to slightly using a 360 controller to back to using a PS3 controller to a 4 and a 5. And yeah, I would go back to playing with the 5 controller, but at this moment, I don't really see a purpose to like buy a more expensive controller that's only going to maybe feel like a $10 increase with the controller that I currently have right now. So
I'll lend you mine, bro.
If you're talking about the PS5 controller, then I understand.
Yeah, if you want me to, yeah, I'll take it. In fact, if any of you guys have like a spare Xbox One controller, that'd be great. I
have 2.
Got that Xbox One from a coworker, and like I was thinking about buying like a DVD controller because that's really the main purpose I'm going to use it for this thing. But the controller is like cost, if not a little bit more or less than a regular controller. So I'm just thinking like, well, let me just get like a regular game controller just in case if the very rare odd occasion I ever want to play something on this thing. I don't know, maybe like Rayman 3 HD or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the person, really. That's the reason why there's so many different controllers, and that's why you can use so many different controllers on PC. But
do SCUF controllers?
Yeah, actually, they just came out with their new Series S and X models, and now they're coming out with the PS5 models. And they're still retardedly expensive. I mean, we're talking $250. They're more than the Elite controller is for the Xbox, like the Xbox branded Elite controller. I know that.
Well, it's for the pro gamers, dude.
Don't get me wrong though. Like, it's an attractive controller because the way that the buttons are set up in the back it looks much more comfortable than how the Elite controller has it. I don't know. I prefer the way that the Elite controller feels because it has the rubber grips that wraps around from the front to the back. And then, those hair triggers. I don't use any of these features anymore. I just like it for the feel and for the battery life. And obviously the 10-foot USB Type-C cable. I mean, who doesn't like that?
Yeah, I bought one of those for my PS4 controller, and that thing... it like stopped working after a while. It get loose too easily.
How often do you take advantage of the actual 10 feet?
Me?
Yeah, because I don't.
I have my controller hooked up to my PC right now. It's always hooked up.
Right, but like, do you use the full 10 feet like ever at one point, or maybe just not even 10 feet, but like close to it?
Well, yeah. 10 feet to so get that. Like, I don't have a wire. I have my wires like managed, so. That charging cable is tucked under my desk, and then I routed through a wire hole that most desks have nowadays. That it comes up to the top, and I have it to where it extends out to where I sit, but it's hooked up in the back of my computer, tucked under my desk, then routed across the desk onto the other side of the desk, up through the desk to in front of me. So
Right.
yeah, that's I always use it. So
Okay. I've just never used it before, but that's all I really got to say about it.
I use a controller because a cable, because while yes, my computer does actually have Bluetooth in it, I just prefer using a wire.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to have mine wireless, but I have so many like connection issues with the dongle for the Xbox controller. I said, screw it. I'm just going to keep it wired because it would randomly disconnect at times. And I said, I can't do this. I play shooters like Halo. I'll play Halo with a controller or Destiny, and that's it. And if I'm in the middle of like a high tension firefight, I can't have my controller disconnecting on me.
Yep.
But yeah.
This was a nice episode.
Yep. Yeah, I was about to say, I think we should definitely wrap up soon. We got together and talked about our grips and our way of handling our game.
And Pokemon. And
we
new
briefly talked about Pokemon.
I know, and you guys stopped me. I was literally going over it, and you guys just stopped me. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, we were moving.
I mean, there really wasn't much about it.
I was gonna.
They showed off the
new
starters.
No, they showed off the new starters. They actually showed off the new region. The parts of the region. That's the way they started it. It was like this Detective Pikachu kind of like short, and then
Oh wait, they're still making Detective Pikachu? Completely.
I don't know. They're making it.
Last game came out like 5 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
That was a movie. It was.
I remember they said they were going to do that for. No. There was also a game.
There?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was also going to be a Detective Pikachu on the Switch.
Oh, I don't remember that. Wow.
It was briefly like not even like a game, not a screenshot, no box cover, no nothing. But they said we're making a Detective Pikachu.
Oh yeah, it was on
for
the
Switch.
DS. I do remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, all I'm saying is like, so it was like a Detective Pikachu intro, and then this guy walks into this room and blinding flash of light. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. And then bam, they freaking throw you into the game, like the actual what the game's going to look like. Apparently this is going to be the first open world Pokemon game. Like completely. There's no boundaries between routes and cities and towns.
But they said that about Arceus.
Well, yeah, but Arceus, there's a cut between going outside of the Jubilife village and going back in. Like, the routes aren't connected.
So it's kind of like New
this
Vegas,
one's going to be
run straight towards the.
So yeah, kind of like
Sanctuary.
GTA 5 essentially, but or Breath of the Wild without any of the cuts to like the underground.
I think a full open world is like Red Dead Redemption 2, where there's no loading screens going into a building.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
But Jack and Daxter did that first.
That they did, and we need more games from them. We need a remaster.
We need a new Sly Cooper game. I'm still waiting
100%.
for Sly 4.
100%.
Oh, we already had Sly 4. Sly 5.
Oh. Did it? Did the Sly?
Yeah, there was Teased in Time.
Oh, you're right.
Which, it was a game that people didn't like at first. I enjoyed it, but people said that on the second playthrough it's actually way better. But yeah, I would love to see Sly Cooper come back and Jack and Daxter. We already got Ratchet and Clank, so fill in that early millennial 2000s baby.
Hey,
dream
Psychonauts 2 came out, and Psychonauts 1 came out a while ago.
Well, that one came out like fucking 10 years before.
Wasn't it an early 2000 game?
Yeah, it was on the original Xbox. I think it was also on the PS2 and GameCube.
I think so. I don't remember.
But yeah, no, I want to see those guys again. But yeah, I don't know, Kenny. Is this my thing with Pokemon? Is that like not even Legends Arceus got me like really excited.
You know what's crazy about these new ones is that they're coming out at the end of this year, and like Legends Arceus just came out at the beginning of this year, and like the graphics look identical with each other.
I mean, I don't know. Pokemon games never been really groundbreaking as far as like graphic fidelity.
No, I know this, but what I'm saying is like I'm just surprised, like how quickly, it's coming out. Like you had Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, then Legends of Arceus, and they all came out within 2 months of each other, 3 months of each other, more or less. Anyways, now less than 12 months later, there's going to be another Pokemon game coming out.
The one Nintendo game I'm most excited about right now is probably Mario Strikers.
Oh, for me, it's going to be Breath of the Wild 2.
Well, we don't know when Breath of the Wild 2 is.
Said it was 2022 is the release date, I'm pretty sure.
I don't really.
No, I don't think they gave a proper release,
like a proper
time.
Date. Yeah.
To be fair, though, like Breath of the Wild was
right here, release date. What? Breath of the Wild 2 is set for the 2022 release.
Yeah, we get that,
really?
But even Breath of the Wild 1, its release date was shifted a whole bunch. Not a whole bunch, but a good amount.
They did delay it a lot. So.
Yeah, I know, but that game was announced like freaking 5 years too early.
What do you mean?
Maybe. I mean, you can.
Yeah, they announced it on the Wii U originally, like the original gameplay for the game.
Well, yeah, because the thing was that Nintendo promised their their fans and said, "Hey, we promise you we're gonna release a Zelda game on the Wii U," and then they did. Even though the Switch came out, they still released it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed that probably would have affected the sales even more. Can you imagine if like Breath of the Wild never came out for the Wii U and it only was a Switch exclusive? I think people would have went even more feral to get a Switch at that point.
Oh hell yeah!
So that just to prove a point to it, they promised their fans like, "Hey, we're gonna release a Zelda game on the Wii U," and they did.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, I think we should just go ahead and wrap, guys. It's getting late. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. If you haven't yet, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, you know that you could listen to us on podcast services such as Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. If you haven't yet, feel free to join our Discord server. You know, we would love to have you on in our community. Also, make sure to follow us at our Twitter at DKM Podcast on Twitter, so you guys can get you up to date on what's going on and when our episodes go live. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good one. Stay safe, and until next time, take care.